Hey guys, it's Bryan, your friendly neighborhood reviewer, and I'm here today to discuss and show off the John Lennon album, Walls and Bridges, 1974. This is a really cool one to have. Just the package is cool, but it's a great album anyway. Like it's the original Apple copy. Show here. Original Apple label, of course. From 1974, like I said. Half apple in the back. Really cool. This inner sleeve is really custom sleeve. This one's, they really went all out for this album. Really cool. Inner sleeve, of course. With that. Then, of course, the album sleeve is really neat. And with the flip sleeve and all that. That's pretty cool. I like that. That's pretty dope. That's kind of neat. All these drawings were from John's childhood. Even a cute little jam with Julian Lennon, his son, with his first wife Cynthia on Ya Ya. But really, really cute little album. I know the packaging seems like it's going to be a lighthearted affair, but it really isn't. I'll go and show you the booklet too, real quick. It's got a booklet. I mean, it's got a booklet folder. I mean, it's like everything in this thing, but it's kind of neat little booklet here. It's got all the lyrics. Again, all these are drawings from his childhood here, John Lennon. Pretty cool. It's one of his high school teacher, I think. There we go. Kind of neat. Really, really nice shape. And I didn't pay that much. I think it was only $14. I think I paid for this, maybe 12. Surprisingly, because they'll at least pay 20. Yeah. But all right. Real cool. All right. Packaging is awesome. We know that. That's a 5-star packaging right there. This album was made toward the end of his, during his Lost weekend. Okay. What had happened? Him and Yoko were having a few problems, apparently, after Mind Games was released, his album before this. So, under Yoko's advice, she said, well, why don't you take out May Pang, which is the secretary there at Atco Records, where Alan Klein was John Lennon's manager. Alan Klein owned Atco Records. So he became John Lennon's manager. He became a lot of the Beatles' manager, which they in turn turned around and sued him because of mismanagement of funds. But that's a whole different story. And John does include a nice little song here about Alan Klein called Steel and Glass, which is similar in the string arrangements as How Do You Sleep, the tack he did on Paul McCartney and Imagine. So there you go, which is a really cool album, a really cool song. But anyway, so at Yoko Ono's insistence, she said, why don't you go take May Pang, the secretary that works for Atco Records, and go with her, go to L.A., and do your thing, and we're going to separate for a while. So, okay. Anyway, so John Lennon takes the girl out, and basically the new Yoko is what the press were calling her, which is, kind of. But anyway, so he absconds with her, goes to L.A. for like 18 months, hangs out with Harry Nilsson and all these guys, and just gets flat out drunk for like months at a time because he was a mess. He was an absolute mess. Because, Yoko was his love, his main love. So he was in terrible shape. Got kicked out of the Troubadour twice. He did manage to produce Harry Nilsson's Pussycats album, which and he co-wrote some stuff on there too. So it wasn't unproductive, I guess. But during the after months of doing this, he finally was getting himself together. He kind of reunited with his son Julian, hence the little duet they have here. After a while, him and Yoko did get back together again. Then he did go in retirement and raise his son, Sean, and all that. But so when he got back to New York, I think it was, he had already written some of these songs. He had, written like 12 songs in a week, and wanted to record them. So he recorded them. So this album, unlike Mind Games before this was a noticeable, deliberate attempt back to a more pop feel after his other album before Mind Games, sometime in New York City, was a complete disaster. It was a horrible album. one of the worst albums he ever did. It is all political sloganeering. It just wasn't a very good album. So Mind Games was made in that respect as a push deliberately back to a more commercial ground. So there's a lot of songs in Mind Games that are a little strained and a little, contrived. So on this album, apparently it took separation from Yoko and a lot of crap going on for him to really get down and settle down to some really good songwriting, which is what he does on this album. From the opening track, Going Down on Love, which is definitely about Yoko and his separation right now, to, Bless You, which is written to Yoko while she's in another guy's, seeing another guy. That's a wild one. But this album is one of his best solo albums. It really is. Almost as good as Imagine and his first album. It's a very diverse offering. It's got a very good production on it. It's all his due from the 70s. Going Down on Love, like I said, great song. Whatever Gets You Through the Night was a big number one hit, which he absolutely did not think would be a number one hit. Elton John plays on the track. Elton John also plays on Surprise, Surprise, Sweet Bird of Paradox in the second side. And Elton John told me, he said, that's a number one hit. He said, that's a number one hit. And John Lennon said, no, I'll never do it. And Elton said, I'll tell you what, if it comes to one hit, you have to appear with me in concert. He said, okay, never thinking it would. Well, it did go number one, of course. And he did in 1974 on Thanksgiving at Madison Square Garden. Elton John was playing a concert. And to everyone's delight, he comes out and sings 3 songs with him. He does Whatever Gets You Through the Night, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, which is Elton John's cover version of his song from the Beatles, which went number one too. And then a cover version of I Saw Her Standing There, which was really actually written by Paul McCartney. And I think he introduced it as from an old estranged spouse of mine or something like that. It's kind of funny. But that is a great track. Great track. Old Dirt Road, I think, features Harry Nilsson. Really cool ballad. How does he say it? A shoveling smoke with a pitchfork in the wind. It's one of the lines. It's crazy. What You Got, which I always love, is a really cool soul number. Horns and stuff like that. A really great number. Again, directed to Yoko and all that. You don't know what you got until you lose it. Baby, give me more chance. Bless You, again, to Yoko, which is really, Bless You is really neat because it is kind of like a really jazzy song. It's not something you would ordinarily associate with John Lennon. That's more Paul McCartney associate with that because Paul McCartney's always doing vaudeville songs and 20s style kind of music. So that's really cool to hear that because that's a really different track. Could really even go on Band on the Run because it has that kind of saxophone and jazz like on Bluebird and some of the other ones on that album. And then it ends with the Scared. Scared, which is the track that Mick Jagger heard, and I don't know the background of it. I didn't know this, but apparently the background of it inspired the Stones' number one song, Miss You. Sped up a little bit and all that. So, a little side note. Side 2, again, one of the album's best numbers is number 9, Dream, on side 2, which was actually clocked in at number 9 on the Billboard chart, a top 10 hit. So, John Lennon always thought number 9 was his lucky number. Then Surprise, Surprise, which again features Elton John. Great track, really good album track. Steel and Glass, the one about Alan Klein, who him and George and Ringo kind of sued because they had mismanaged some funds, including George's concert for Bangladesh, because he did end up mismanaging the funds on that a little bit. But Beef Jerky, which is an instrumental, usually featured in a lot of late night radio shows and things. Really good instrumental, though. Nice little funky number. And then Nobody Loves You When You're Down and Out. Kind of ends in downbeat notes. It's, everybody loves you when you're 6 feet in the ground. It's like, damn. But so he kind of ends it on Ya Ya, which is a cute little duet between him and Julian on drums and him on piano. So that kind of lifts the album up a little bit from Total Despair at the end. But Nobody Loves You When You're Down and Out is a great song. Don't get me wrong. It's a great song, but it's kind of a little downer. But overall, this album has a lot more thought and care to it than his album since Imagine. Like I said, one of his best solo albums. I really do believe that. Number one hit across the board, went number one everywhere. Kind of returned him to graces after the disastrous Sometime in New York City album, which is just, anyway. So I think, honestly, I was tempted to give it 4 stars, but I'm really going to give it 5 because, man, I like everything on this album. I mean, there really is a great album. I've had, this album, which he would do the Rock and Roll Oldies album, which that's a whole nother crazy stuff with Phil Spector, and then he would go into retirement. So until Double Fantasy, I mean, this is it. This is like the best album he had done. And that was all I would get from him, except for some oldies. So, but great album nonetheless. And definitely the packages are a really cool plus. So, but definitely 5 out of 5, man. Gotta love it. And Number 9 Dreams, a heck of a song. Love that song. All right. But anyway. All right, guys. But hope you appreciate the vinyl showcase. Like, subscribe, hit the buttons and all that. Greatly appreciate the support. Hope you enjoy the reviews and the talk. Talking amongst yourself. If you think Walls and Bridges deserves a 5-star, maybe not. I don't know. But tell me what your favorite Lennon album is. Discuss it and all that. But really appreciate the support and the likes and everything. Take care of yourself. Be sure to check out my buddy David Darko's channel. We always have a good time with that channel. Talk about all kinds of stuff going on in the crazy world we live in. But thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a great day.